It all started with the sound of a wine glass sliding across my deck like it had a mind of its own. One of the guests chuckled nervously, chalking it up to a stiff breeze or maybe just one too many glasses of rosé. But then the whole table shifted. Chairs tilted, phones slid off laps, and someone actually gasped. Why are the stars moving? Standing barefoot in the center of the chaos was Linda, arms spread like she was commanding the Titanic, shouting into the night. Who built this crazy thing? Inside, I was tucked in my office, sipping tea, watching the live feed on my monitors, and I couldn't help but grin. Oh, Linda, you've stepped onto a ride you can't control. But let's rewind. 6 hours earlier, my day had started peacefully. Birdsong, the soft hum of my solar panels, and a view of Misty Lake from my hilltop home. I'm Charlie, a retired robotics engineer who decided that growing tomatoes sounded boring. So instead, I spent my retirement building things no one asked for, but everyone secretly wanted. My pride and joy. A fully automated, solar-powered rotating deck. Every hour it turns 15 degrees, giving me an ever-changing view of the mountains, the woods, and the water. Quite elegant private. At least it used to be private, until Linda moved in 3 months ago. Linda wasn't just any neighbor. She rolled into our sleepy community with a moving truck full of antique furniture, scented candles, and enough ambition to rival a Wall Street takeover. Within 2 weeks, she seized control of the HOA presidency, citing urgent leadership needs. After our old president conveniently relocated to Florida, rumor had it he didn't move for the sunshine. He moved to escape Linda. Linda wasn't content to manage the HOA. Oh no, she declared herself guardian of the neighborhood's historical integrity. Whatever that meant. Suddenly, bird feeders were environmental hazards. Wind chimes were auditory pollution. Solar panels, a reflective menace to community tranquility. She even cited my solar deck as a visual disruption to the bluff's natural soul. At first, I ignored her. A retired engineer doesn't pick battles with people who think recycling bins are an aesthetic attack. But things changed when I left for a 2-day robotics expo. Barely an hour outside town, I got the first motion alert on my phone. At first, I figured maybe a deer wandered onto the deck. But no. When I pulled up the camera feed, there was Linda, hosting a full-blown sunset cocktail party on my private rotating deck. Wine cheese boards, lawn chairs, Bluetooth speakers. She had broken into my backyard using an HOA emergency key. And now she was claiming my deck as some kind of public scenic platform. According to her speech to the guests, captured beautifully by my security cams, she believed the HOA had liberated this space from private hoarding, her words, not mine. What she didn't realize was that after 9 p.m., the deck automatically entered night mode, rotating an extra 30 degrees, slowly aligning with a steep tree-covered ravine. Safe if you knew it was moving. Terrifying if you didn't. So there I sat in my office, watching Linda's party drift degree by degree away from civilization. Someone finally noticed. A woman shrieked, "Wait, was that tree always there?" Another guest scrambled after a sliding wine bottle. Phones skittered. Chairs wobbled. Linda, ever the queen, waved it off. Relax. These modern homes always settle weird. Then one of her guests mumbled, "Pretty sure this isn't part of the HOA." Linda's eye twitched. Of course it is. Charlie's just a cranky hermit. Inside, I chuckled. She had no idea that my deck rotated on a lunar-grade gear system, or that the final position gave the perfect optical illusion of hanging over a cliff. As panic bubbled up, Linda grabbed a patio chair and shoved it toward the deck's edge. Redistribute the weight. It's just physics. Her guests didn't seem comforted. One guy Googled how to jump off a moving deck safely. At that point, I decided they'd had enough. I flipped the emergency stop. The deck locked in place. The speakers cut out mid-song. Lights dimmed to a faint blue. On the cameras, the party froze. Linda's mouth hung open. One woman actually clutched her purse like it was a parachute. I turned the floodlights on, illuminating them like a theater stage. Linda whipped her sun hat down, barking, "Fine, we're leaving. But trust me, this isn't over." And boy, it wasn't. The next morning, I got the email. 12 official grievances filed against me with the HOA. 12, ranging from unauthorized moving structures to emotional trauma caused by unexpected deck rotation. She even claimed her dog developed anxiety. Her dog wasn't even at the party. Still, I welcomed the fight, because what Linda didn't know was that my niece Rachel, a civil engineer, had moved into the neighborhood a year earlier, and Rachel, she knew the HOA charter better than Linda knew her own Pinterest login. At the emergency hearing, Linda marched in like a prosecutor from a daytime TV show, blazer pearls folder, labeled evidence in glitter pen. She delivered a grand speech about neighborhood betrayal and community safety, complete with shaky photos of spilled wine and wide-eyed guests. When it was my turn, I just said, "Let's roll the footage." And oh boy, the room went silent. They watched Linda open my emergency gate, host a party, wave away concerns, and shout about redistributing weight, while my deck rotated gently into the moonlight. By the end, people were laughing, even the board members. One leaned in and asked Linda flat out, "What exactly were you thinking?" Linda's face cracked. The board ruled. No violations against me. Linda fined for trespassing. Her temporary HOA presidency revoked. You'd think it ended there. Nope. Linda pivoted. She started a whisper campaign, painting me as some kind of tech tyrant. Flyers showed up in mailboxes. "Stop the spin," complete with badly photoshopped UFOs abducting dogs. It almost worked. Trash pickup skipped my house. Someone dented my mailbox, and a neighbor once whispered, "Hey, does your deck scan brainwaves?" That's when I decided enough was enough. I called an old friend from my robotics days. Together, we upgraded my deck. Thermal sensors, biometric tagging, motion-triggered warning messages, and the best part, a sign at the entryway, private rotational viewing platform, trespass at your own discretion. When Linda saw it, she almost fainted from pure indignation. And yet she wasn't done. A few nights later, she returned. This time, with a guy and a toolbox, whispering about removing the torque pin. As soon as they crawled under the deck, the floodlights hit, and a calm voice, pre-recorded by Rachel, boomed, "Unauthorized presence detected. This deck rotates. So might your reputation." The guy took off like a scared rabbit. Linda stood there, fists shaking, until the sheriff pulled up and handed her a restraining order. The neighborhood cheered. Clips of the drama hit Reddit, TikTok, even local news. They called it the spiral of entitlement. Linda tried one last desperate stunt, suing me in small claims court for rotational harassment. Claims she suffered from centrifugal-induced existential dread. The judge didn't even let her finish. Dismissed in 5 minutes. Ordered her to pay court costs. And just like that, the storm passed. Linda packed up. Her house sat empty for weeks until a young couple moved in. Nice folks who asked, "Hey, does that thing really move?" I smiled and said, "Only if you deserve it." Today, my deck still spins. The sunsets are just as beautiful. The laughter a little sweeter. And the best part, peace real earned. Peace. But hey, enough about me. What about you? Have you ever dealt with a power-hungry HOA president? Or seen someone try to twist the rules for their own gain? Drop your story in the comments. I'd love to hear all the wild, hilarious, and downright crazy HOA battles you've witnessed. And, hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and spin back here next time for more.